A very good morning, dear students. Today, we all will read the fifth prose chapter from your supplementary textbook, Vistas. The name of the chapter is Should Wizard Hit Mummy? And this is written by John Updike. Let us first read about the writer of this story. John Updike was born on 18th of March 1932 in US. He died on 27th of January 2009 in Massachusetts, US. He is an American novelist, poet, and short story writer. He is well known for his craftsmanship while dealing with the subject matter in his works. He graduated himself from Harvard University in 1954. His first book was The Carpentered Hen and Other Tame Creatures. So let us have an overview of the story. This story, Should Wizard Hit Mummy? It deals with a young American couple. They were having 2 children and the third one was on the way. Jack has been following a routine of narrating stories to his preschool daughter, Jo, and putting her to sleep. He is unprepared to face Jo's reality phase, where she questions him whether the narrative was real or out of daddy's head. Means he is in the habit of telling the stories to his daughter. But the daughter, Jo, is not always ready to accept the ending of the story. Many times, she asks many questions from the father, where the father is not able to satisfy the daughter. About this chapter, this story centers around the inquisitive, that is, inquiring nature of children. As the children grow in age, they start understanding this world. They apply their own brain to what is told to them by their parents. So, they become inquisitive. Sometimes they argue with their parents. In such a situation, the parent shouldn't feel irritated at them. Rather, they should convince them politely and tactfully. As in this story, when the daughter Jo is not able to accept the stories by the father Jack, the father must not get irritated. He must try to give the various reasons and he must try to convince the child politely and very tactfully. So let us start with the summary. Should Wizard Hit Mummy? Written by John Updike. First, the main characters of this story. Jack, the father, he is the main character of the story. Jo is the name of his daughter. Claire, the wife of Jack, a wizard, an imaginary character, and an old owl, an imaginary character. Let us start. Jack was the father of 2 little children, Jo and Bobby. His wife, whose name was Claire, was having a baby. She was pregnant with 6 months baby, and this was their 3rd child who was to come yet. As I told you earlier also, Jack began telling his daughter Jo bedtime stories. And this session was started when Jo was only 2 years old. Now the age of Jo is 4 years old. Means for 2 years, every night the father has to tell a story to his daughter. Otherwise, she is not ready to sleep. So she is ready to sleep only after listening to the story, and she also doesn't accept what is told as true. She is having so many questions as other children. She is very inquisitive. She asks questions in between, and where she doesn't like the story, she requests the father to change the story. Every story was you can say a base story. In every story, there is a creature, but in every story, this creature is a little bit different from the other story. In this story, the creature is Roger. This can be a fish in one story, a mouse, a cat, or some other in different stories. So these stories were not pre-decided by the father. These were instant story. Whatever came in his mind, he used to tell the story. But the main character in the story is same. This is Roger, but it can be different. Sometimes it can be a fish, mouse, cat, or somewhat else. But the common problem of this creature Roger in every story is that this creature is suffering from loneliness in the forest because this creature is having some disabilities. You can see the Roger. Roger can be different in every story. This is Jack the father and Joe the daughter. So this is a base story. As I told you, Roger is having some disability. So he is not able to play with his friends and he was feeling alone because due to these disabilities, his friends are not ready to play with him. He used to cry all the time. Then he goes to a wise owl to get the solution of his problem. The wise owl advises him to go to the wizard. Roger goes to the wizard and this wizard performs some magic spell and Roger is able to get rid of his ailment by paying a few pennies. Roger is very happy. Now he is free from his problem. His friends also accept his company and he becomes a very happy Roger now. So one Saturday, Jack told another Roger episode. Means now I'm telling you about one particular Saturday when a particular story was told by the father to the daughter. So this new animal was Roger skunk. And the disability of this new animal was associated was that it was smelling very, very bad. This new twist in the story thrilled the daughter so much that she loved listening to the story. She became very attentive. She sat down on the bed and she was ready to listen to the story. So you can see this Roger. Wherever he used to go, he was emitting bad smell. Due to this bad smell, no one used to come close to him and no one used to play with him. So everywhere he used to find the enemies. Means whosoever is not his friend is his enemy. Whosoever is not playing with him is his enemy. So he wanted to emit his foul smell so that his enemies are scattered and all these enemies become his friends once again. So again you can see the story. As I told you, this Roger is suffering from indignity, alienation, disapproval and withdrawal because no one is ready to play with him. So seeing him cry, the wise owl has advised him to meet the wizard. Wizard gave him some smell of roses. His foul smell was changed into the sweet smell of roses now when the wizard performed some magic spell. Roger is very happy. All the friends are very happy that Roger is having such a sweet smell, the smell of rosy. He is accepted by his friends and soon he becomes very happy. Now, that was the outline of the story. Now, let us see what happens. As I told you, that Roger was very unhappy, very, very sad, very lonely. because of his bad smell. No one was ready to play with him. So at last he decided to go to the wise owl. This wise owl lived at the top of a big tree. He went there and requested him to help him to get rid of his bad smell. This enormous owl, he advised Roger to go to the wizard. The wizard was living in the mid of a dense jungle. It was far, far away. Roger had to make a long distance in order to search and to reach his house. So you can see the house of the wizard. This house was situated in the middle of a forest. Anyhow, Roger was having the problem. He searched for the house and he located the house and he reached there. You can see the picture of this horrifying wizard. Now, this horrifying wizard is going to solve the problem of the Roger now by applying some magic spell. So the owl told him to go to the wizard, and the wizard performed a magic spell that solved the problem. So when the problem of Roger was solved, he asked in turn that you have to pay these many pennies, this amount of money. But Roger was not having that much amount. So wizard also told him the direction where he has to go, where he will find a place where the extra pennies would be there. He can find them, he can bring here and he can give to them. And in this way, his smell will be changed and he will be happy once again. So the Roger does the same thing. Once again, he goes back wherever he was told to go. He gets the pennies from there and he gives these pennies to the wizard. The wizard chanted a magic smell and Roger started smelling like roses. All the room, all the surrounding areas, they were sweetened, they were having the fragrance of sweet roses. The Roger was so happy. He played many games with other creatures. And when he was tired, he went home to his mother just in time to hear the train whistle that brought his daddy home from Boston. He was very happy and he was expecting that his mother will also be very happy because he has sought out the way to get rid of his bad smell. And now he's having a smell of roses, such a good smell that everyone is having happy to see that smell. So Joe was very happy. She was happy with the ending of the story because in the ending Roger was happy. She couldn't think of another Roger story that ended better than this. She was happy and was getting ready to sleep. She thought the story is over now. Roger was having the problem. The problem is solved now. The mother is also very happy. So what is there to say anything now by the father? So she thought that the story is over and she thought that she must sleep now. But the father, Jack, he didn't like the little child's not waiting her father to say, Joe, that is the end of the story. Now you sleep. So the Joe's father was having the authoritative nature. He always wanted his daughter to listen to his words, even at this bad time. When he says, Joe, the story is over, now you can sleep, only then Joe must start up sleeping. But here in this ending, the father has not said so. So how Joe is daring to sleep? This was not accepted by the father. The father wanted to establish a father's commanding power in the family and to remind the child that the children have to listen to parents. Jack told her, Joe, the story is not over. And instantly, Joe awoke from his sound sleep. She was slept because she was very happy with the end of the story. But the father never wanted his daughter to sleep. He wanted to continue with the story. So Joe was surprised that is there anything else that has to continue with the story? So she rose up again from the sound sleep and she was ready to listen to the next part of the story. Now the story takes a new turn, a deviation that Jack deliberately brought in. When Roger went into the home, Roger's mother did not like this smell, although this smell was very sweet, the smell of roses. So Joe was not happy. That why the mother is not happy with the sweet smell of roses of Roger. She asked the father why the mother was not happy. She must be very happy. So actually the mother was also right. The skunk's mother was right because she wanted her skunk to retain his originality as God had made him and not to be someone else. So God has bestowed some peculiar qualities to each creature, to each living being on this earth. So we, the human beings, we don't have any right to change, to interfere into the works of God. If God has given the bad smell to skunk, the wizard is not having any right to change the smell of Roger and to change it into the sweet smell of roses. So the mother was also having this view. So she was not happy with the sweet smell of the roses. Mother took Roger to the wizard with the umbrella into her hands and explained how his magic angered her. She wanted to ask the wizard that how he dared to change the smell of his son. The mother was happy with the smell, whatever he was having. So, how the wizard has changed the smell of the Roger? She wanted to hit the wizard with this smell and wanted to say, change the smell of my son again as it was before. So the wizard was ready. He said, okay, if you are not okay with this sweet smell, I will again change the smell of your son into the bad smell. Again he spelled another magic, and Roger once again was smelling very bad as he was smelling earlier. And Roger's mother was very happy and she took him back to the home. Although Roger will not be happy at this time because Roger knows that now again all his friends will be converted into enemies. Again they will start avoiding him. They will not love playing with him. So he was not happy. He wanted to have friends in his life as all other creatures are having, but he couldn't do anything because the mother wanted him to be with his old smell. But the Joe was not happy. She was displeased with this new ending. Instead, she wanted her father to make the wizard hit Roger's mother. No, she wanted this ending that instead the mother is taking an umbrella and hitting the wizard's head. Instead, what must be there? The wizard must take the umbrella and hit at the hand of the mother. That why do you want your son to be sad? Why don't you want your son to play with the friends? Why don't you want that your son must be happy with the sweet smell of the rosy? But no, Jack was not of this view. But Jack was not ready to make any change as he thought Joe should accept him without questioning. As I told you, he was having the commanding nature. He was having this view that the children, the Joe, his daughter, must accept whatever he is saying. But Joe was so inquisitive, so talkative that she was not ready to accept this ending of the story. Jack wanted the story to remain a remember to Joe to understand the importance of yielding to her parents. So, whatever the father is saying, the daughter has to yield. The daughter has to accept the words of the father. Hi, get under the covers and fall fast asleep. Bobby is asleep. Bobby, the younger brother of Joe. So the father says, no, there is no way that the story is going to end now. The story's ending is going to change now. So whatever I have told you, this is the ending of the story. So you have to sleep now. But Joe, she was very sad. She said, oh, she was a stupid mommy. Tomorrow I want you to tell me a story. The same story, but the ending will be different. In this story, The wizard will be taking the magic wand and will be hitting the mother of Roger's skunk. So Joe was asleep now and Jack comes down. As I told you, Claire Jack's wife was pregnant and she was doing the paint work. So when he came down, he said, "That poor child." He went downstairs and the wife was doing the work. So the wife said, "Was that a very big story?" Jack said, "No. I was caught in an ugly middle position between a child's and an adult's view of the wizard, of the world. So my view was different and the child view was different. My view was that whatever God has given us, whatever qualities we have been bestowed with, we must accept them happily. But Jo is a child. She wants every other child to be happy. So she was not happy with my story. So that is why I took a little long time in order to make her sleep. So that is why I came late to you. So this is the end of the story. Let me do a very few questions and answers. In your question paper, two types of questions will be there. Short answer questions and long answer questions. Short answer questions will be of 2 marks where you have to answer within 30 to 40 words only. For example, if the question is, why did Roger Skunk go to see the old owl? Answer will be, Roger Skunk smelled very bad. So no one of the woodland creatures played with him. There he felt very sad and isolated. Hence he approached the owl to find a solution. You can't exceed the word limit here. Although you may be having so many views in your mind to write in this answer, but you have to answer, you have to complete your question within the prescribed word limit only. So this is one example of long answer type question, and the question is important too. This is a 6 marks question. Which do you think is better ending of Roger's Skunk's story? Joe's or father's? So the answer, if Jack's view is taken, then the innocent Joe will believe her entire life that the elders have the right to hit anybody, even though other person is not at fault. So this is if we accept the Jack's view. But if Joe's view is taken, the daughter's view is taken, then it will be showing disrespect to elders. So a proper end would be that the skunk's mother doesn't hit the wizard, but the changes the skunk's smell to make him realize that he is supposed to respect originality and stick to his natural self. So only one question from one type I have given you. So in this way, the other questions can also be there. You can see the other questions by yourself. So another question, did Joe approve of mother's action? What did she want the story to be like? No, Joe didn't approve of mother's action. She wanted the story to be like the wizard hitting the mummy back with the magic feather and chopping off her plump arms forcefully right over the head. So that's all about this story. Thanks a lot for watching this video.